You're back with me, Renee Fong. Boatloads of tourists sailed to tiny Boracay Island today. On the first day, Philippine officials reopened the resort to visitors after a 6-month closure to clean waters, of which the President Rodrigo Duterte had called a cesspool due to overcrowding, partying, and neglect. Officials at the island in central Aklan province have imposed new rules to regulate the influx of visitors and beach parties, decongest resorts and prevent sewage from being discharged directly into the turquoise waters. Only 157 of Boracay's hundreds of hotels, inns, restaurants and souvenir shops have reopened after complying with regulations, including connecting to authorized sewer pipes and maintaining a 30-meter distance from the beach waters and only fires. Residents of a U.S. territory in the Pacific ravaged by Super Typhoon Yutu are hopeful for help from the federal government as they dig out from damage, including crumbled concrete houses, smashed cars and fallen utility poles. Officials also said that there was only one storm-related death confirmed. About 50,000 people living in the U.S. Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands expect to be without electricity and running water for months after getting slammed by the strongest storm to hit the U.S. this year. The National Weather Service said maximum sustained winds of 290 kilometers per hour were recorded around the eye of the storm, which passed over the islands of Tinian and Saipan early Thursday. The territory's only hospital in Saipan, the most populated island, said it received 133 people in the emergency room on Thursday, and 3 patients had severe injuries that needed surgery. 2 people were found dead on Thursday at Yosemite National Park after an apparent fall. Yosemite National Park said in a statement the park rangers recovered the bodies of a man and woman who possibly died after falling from the park's Taft Point. It's still unclear when the pair fell and from what spot at Taft Point, which is 900 meters above the famed Yosemite Valley floor. Officials have yet to identify the victims and have opened an investigation into the incident. Taft Point is part of a 3.5-kilometer hiking trail along the Glacier Point Road that allows visitors to walk to the cliff's edge where there is no railing. Railings only exist at a small portion of the overlook, which is popular for its breathtaking views of the valley. Yosemite Falls and El Capitan and fissures on the granite rock that plunge to the valley floor. More than 10 people have died at the park this year, some from natural causes and others from falls. Miami-Dade police on Thursday went to the mail sorting facility in Opa-locka, Florida at the request of the FBI in connection with the suspicious package investigation. According to a law enforcement source said, the investigation was a precautionary measure. This week, suspicious packages have been sent to prominent critics of President Donald Trump. Postal inspectors are searching mail facilities for packages matching the 10 sent over the last 4 days. A search of a postal database suggested at least some may have been mailed from Florida, and one official suggested investigators were homing in on the postal facility on Opa-locka, where they believe some of the packages originated. North and South Korea held military talks on their border today to discuss implementing a broad-reaching military agreement last month to reduce tensions. South Korean Major General Kim Do-gyun before the meeting at Panmunjom said the discussions will include establishing a joint military committee meant to maintain communication and avoid crisis and accidental clashes. The planned committee is one of many inter-Korean commitments spelled out in the military agreement that was reached on the sidelines of a summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in last month in Pyongyang. The talks came a day after the Koreas and the US-led UN command completed removing firearms and the troops from a jointly controlled area at the border village. The Koreas have also been clearing mines from frontline areas and plan to conduct their first ever joint search for remains of soldiers killed during the 1950-53 Korean War. South Korea on Thursday had confirmed its soldiers had found war remains in a different frontline area. The Koreas have also agreed to create buffer zones along their land and sea boundaries, as well as a no-fly zone above the border, and remove 11 frontline guard posts by December. Coming up in sports, South Korea and Australia teams book quarter-final spots. Italy's Andrea Agnoni clocked the fastest time in practice today ahead of the Australian Grand Prix as Carl Crutchlow had a heavy crash and was stretchered away holding his leg. The Suzuki rider powered to a quickest lap of 1 minute 29.131 seconds at the DEF after the opening session was delayed by almost 2 hours due to the oil on the track and rain. Fellow Italian Danilo Petrucci on a Ducati was 0.160 seconds behind in second place, while Yamaha's Maverick Vinales, who topped the first practice, came third. Newly crowned world champion Marc Marquez, who has an insurmountable 102-point lead,